Introduction to Oxidation and Reduction. Hello guys, I am Isaac, the scientist, and I have come here to teach you a few simple concepts in science. When we talk about chemical reactions, we might think of the complicated reactions of converting one state of matter to another. But, if we take a close look at the reactions, they are very simple to understand. For example, let us consider an apple, cut open. You would observe that the apple turns brown after some time. How is that possible? How about another example? How do plants prepare food with the help of sunlight? Here, the apple undergoes oxidation by reaction with the air, and thus turns brown. Whereas, plants undergo photosynthesis, a process that converts carbon dioxide and water to glucose. You may also find it quite remarkable that almost 1/3 of the chemical reactions taking place come under the combination of oxidation and reduction, called redox reactions. Redox reactions include different types of chemical changes that occur in respiration, combustion of fuels, decomposition, etc. So, to learn how the redox reactions work, let me explain them in this video. Thus, at the end of this lesson, you will be able to illustrate oxidation and reduction with examples. Oxidation and reduction. Let us see the oxidation reaction first. Oxidation is the loss of electrons during a reaction by a molecule, atom or ion. And, it occurs when the oxidation state of a molecule, atom or ion is increased. Now, what is reduction? The opposite process of oxidation is called reduction, which occurs when there is a gain of electrons or the oxidation state of an atom, molecule, or ion decreases. Let us understand it better with an experiment. Heat a china dish containing about 1 gram of copper powder. What do you observe? The surface of copper powder is coated with black copper, oxide. Do you know why this black substance has been formed? This is because oxygen reacts with copper to form copper oxide. However, if hydrogen gas is passed over this heated copper oxide material, the black coating on the surface turns brown, as the reverse reaction occurs, and copper is obtained. Thus, if a substance gains oxygen during a reaction, it is said to be oxidized, and if it loses oxygen, it is said to be reduced. Here, the copper oxide is losing oxygen, and hence it undergoes reduction. Whereas, the hydrogen is gaining oxygen, and undergoes oxidation. In other words, one reactant gets oxidized, while the other gets reduced during a reaction. Such reactions are called oxidation-reduction reactions, or redox reactions. Before moving on to reduction reactions, let me ask you a question. Why does the color of copper sulfate solution change when an iron nail is dipped in it? This is because iron displaces copper from copper sulfate, because iron is more reactive than copper. The color of the copper sulfate solution, therefore, changes. Thus, the reaction involved in the color change is displayed here. Having learnt about the redox reactions, let us see some examples. Examples of redox reactions. The first example is the formation of zinc from zinc oxide. In this reaction, carbon is oxidized to carbon monoxide, and zinc oxide is reduced to zinc. Another example is the reaction of manganese oxide with hydrochloric acid. Here, hydrochloric acid is oxidized to chlorine, whereas manganese oxide is reduced to manganese chloride. Let's take a short break and indulge in an activity. Identify the substances that are oxidized and reduced in the given reactions. Observe the screen to know the answers. How about another question? When a magnesium ribbon burns with a dazzling flame in the air, that is, oxygen, and changes to a white substance, magnesium oxide, is magnesium oxidized or reduced in this reaction? The answer is when magnesium reacts with oxygen, magnesium is being oxidized to form magnesium oxide. Moving on to more examples, the reaction between hydrogen and fluorine shows how hydrogen is oxidized and fluorine is reduced. The oxidation half reaction and the reduction half reaction are given. Here, the hydrogen and fluorine ions go on to combine to form hydrogen fluoride. Thus, loss of electrons is called oxidation, and gain of electrons is called reduction. Next reaction is a type of metal displacement reaction, in which copper metal is obtained, when zinc displaces the Cu2+ ions, in the copper sulfate solution as shown. And, the oxidation half reaction, and the reduction half reaction are given here. Finally, the reaction between iron and hydrogen peroxide, where Fe2+ is oxidized, to Fe3+, by hydrogen peroxide, when an acid is present. Thus, the hydroxide ion formed from the reduction of hydrogen peroxide combines with the proton, donated by the acidic medium to form water. So now you have a clear understanding of redox reactions, that is oxidation and reduction reactions. Conclusion. Thus, in this module, we have learnt about oxidation and reduction reactions, that fuel the most advanced form of transportation known today, the space shuttle. Although they play a major role in the functioning of the natural environment, that is, photosynthesis, at the same time, oxidation-reduction reactions are responsible for the spoilage of food, the oxidation part of the reaction being responsible for this. Summary. In this video, you have learnt that oxidation is the loss of electrons during a reaction by a molecule, atom or ion. Then, we discussed the reduction reaction that occurs when there is a gain of electrons or when the oxidation state of an atom, molecule, or ion decreases. Next, we understood the concept of redox reactions, with an experiment, where a china dish containing about 1 gram of copper powder is heated. Finally, we discussed the redox reactions with a few examples.